The local truck scene is filled with lifestyle trucks, all vying for a position in your garage, mostly showing off their off-road capabilities and their macho looks. The Ford Ranger Raptor, the Toyota Hilux Conquest, even Nissan's own Navara Pro4x are examples of this. However, even while we drool over these halo trucks, most truck buyers would still go for the #1 reason why these vehicles are made: utility. While it's nice to have all the bells and whistles, sometimes all you need is something that gets the job done. And in that regard, we have here the all-new Nissan Navara VE 4x2 AT, which is Nissan's mid-spec entry into the truck segment. Does this mid-spec Navara have what it takes to win in the pickup wars? Well, we're here to find out. Let's do this. Hello guys, I'm Reagan and welcome back to another truck review. If you're new to my channel, I hope you click that subscribe button and become part of the Reagan's Rides family. If you're my subscriber already, thank you so much for your support. I truly appreciate it. Also, special thanks to Nissan Otis and the Gateway Group for inviting us over here to review the Nissan Navara VE 4x2 Automatic. If you want a Nissan, head on down here to Nissan Otis and check them out. The Navara VE 4x2 that we have here is the mid-spec contender in the Navara lineup, and it is also the most practical. It's a great business partner because it puts together a great balance of features and affordability. This Navara VE 4x2 Automatic has a retail price of 1,459,000 Philippine pesos, which already includes the safeguard bond of the DTI. That price puts it at the same level as the Ford Ranger FX4 4x2 and the Mitsubishi Strada Athlete 4x2. However, for this video, we check out what sort of goodies this Navara VE can give us. Now, the newly designed front end of this Navara follows in the same design trend that can be found in most modern trucks nowadays, and that's one huge-ass front grille. However, this front grille doesn't get the blacked-out treatment that can be found in the top-spec Navara Pro4x. Instead, we get the same chrome front grille here that's found in the higher VL trim. Now, if there's one thing that I like about these Navaras, is that they don't scrimp on the lighting units. Even this mid-spec VE gets the same quad projector LED headlights that can be found in the top-spec Navara Pro4x. We also get the same LED DRLs and the same LED fog lights, so despite paying for the mid-spec variant, you're getting a top-notch set of lighting units. Now, other truck manufacturers should learn a thing or two from the Nissan Navara. Now, when you look at the entire front fascia of this truck, you'll see that it is heavily redesigned, but it still carries the same signature squared-off mug that tells everybody it means business. The Navara VE may not get those bulging plastic over fenders that can be found in the Navara Pro4x, but nobody will accuse this truck of being wimpy. We get power folding side mirrors here with LED turn signals, and we also have a regular stepboard. Niceties that normally you wouldn't found in a mid-spec variant. However, we don't get roof rails here because you'll have to go up to the higher VL trim in order to get those roof rails. Now, you also have to make do with 17-inch wheels versus the 18s that are found in the higher trim. These 17-inch wheels are wrapped in 255/65 R17 tires. Behind those wheels, we get ventilated disc brakes up front, but only rear drum brakes at the back. Now, the suspension setup of the Navara is pretty different from other trucks because we get a double wishbone setup up front and an independent multi-link rear suspension at the back instead of traditional leaf springs. Now, these should do wonders for your ride quality. Ground clearance is a healthy 200 millimeters, but the flood wading capacity is only at 600 millimeters, which is a bit low for a pickup. The Navara's rear end has been redesigned so that it can accommodate heavier loads. In fact, this Navara VE 4x2 automatic has the highest payload capacity of the Navara lineup at 1,043 kilos. Now, Nissan achieved this by redesigning the chassis here in the back end so that despite having a multi-link rear suspension instead of the traditional leaf springs, well, towing and payload capacity is not compromised. The towing capacity of the Navara stands at 3,500 kilos, and that's a pretty standard level of brake towing capacity for these mid-size pickup trucks. However, one noticeable miss here is the fact that we don't get a standard bed liner. We do get 4 tie-down points there, but that's just about it. So if you're an OCD person who wants a standard bed liner for their Navara, you may as well inquire with Nissan Otis and get it as an option. Now, as you notice, as I close this liftgate, you see that it's an assisted liftgate, which is always a big plus for its price. The Navara also gets these redesigned LED taillights here that goes well with the redesigned rear end. The Navara VE gets the same diesel engine that's found in the top-spec Navara Pro4x, which is always a good thing. The thing is, this is the same engine that's found in the previous Navara. This is a 2.5-liter 4-cylinder turbo diesel engine that's good for 187 horses and 450 Newton-meters of torque. It is a proven and reliable engine though because it's been around for 10 years and we all know that parts are plentiful. However, the Navara used to be a power champ, but because of updates coming from the competition, this is really more of a middle-of-the-pack engine now. Now this motor is mated to a 7-speed automatic transmission which powers the rear wheels. However, do note that if you want the 6-speed manual option, the only variant that you can get is this VE or the base model EL. The Navara gets some updates here in the interior as well. This VE trim gets the same zero-gravity seats that can be found across the range. These zero-gravity seats are meant to remove your fatigue when you're going on a long drive, and I can attest to the effectiveness of these seats because I drive a 2015 Nissan X-Trail with the same zero-gravity seats. However, the VE only gets fabric seats here. You'd have to go up to the VL trim if you want to get leather seats. The steering wheel has also been redesigned. This is a nice sporty design here, and it's also wrapped in nice leather, and we have some really good stitching here on the steering wheel. The wheel itself also has hands-free connectivity for your infotainment system, and we also have cruise control. And if you notice, the wheel, however, only tilts. It doesn't really telescope, so that's a bit of a letdown if you are a taller driver than myself. Now when you look at the instrument gauge cluster, we got a standard analog system here. You got an analog speedo and analog tach, but we do have a 7-inch multi-information display in the middle that shows your car's vital information. When you move over to your infotainment screen, we've got an 8-inch infotainment screen here that has Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, which are always plus points in my book. Now we also get the image here for the reverse camera because the VE doesn't really get the around view monitor system that can be found in the VL and the Pro4x. At least for its price, we still get a reverse camera. Now, moving down from your infotainment system, we have here a fully automated or automatic climate control system, and we also have a charging port for a USB, and we also have a 12-volt power outlet. However, we also get a power outlet at the top of your dashboard. We get a 12-volt power outlet there in case you want to put some like aftermarket modifications in your Navara VE, like for example an LED light system or a light bar or stuff like that. Now that's all good touch coming from Nissan. Now we move down to your gear shifter here that is wrapped in chrome. Not really the gear shifter, but the area where the gear shifter is well surrounded by chrome and piano black plastics. Not really a big fan of that, but it is what it is. And we have a couple of cup holders here, which we will subject to our clean canteen test. I have here my clean canteen, and let's see. Yep, easily it fits my clean canteen. I mean, Nissan also makes some decently sized cup holders. Now we also have a traditional handbrake here, and of course, center console with a nice padded center armrest here. Console also has another USB charging port and a USB-C charging port for faster charging. Now that's a first that I've seen in these pickup trucks that I review, and kudos to Nissan for including that in the Navara, even in this mid-spec VE variant. Now when you look at the entire cockpit area of the Navara VE, you're surrounded by plastics, guys, but at least the plastics here are soft touch plastics. These are much better quality plastics than the ones that I normally find in these workhorse pickup trucks. The good thing though is the high traffic areas like your elbow rest here and the center armrest, these are still nice and softly padded, although these are not leather, these are still fabric paddings here. Now the fit and finish here in the cabin, this is superb, something that I normally expect from a Nissan vehicle. The Navaras in the Philippines are a double cab pickup configuration, so we get a back seat here along with 4 doors. Now, having said that, guys, the back seat space of the Navara, it's not really class leading. In fact, it's a little bit on the tight side. I'm 5'6", guys. I'm an average Asian. As you can see, I got around 6 inches of knee room. This is my driving position here, but I only got around 4 inches of headroom. So if you're somebody who's taller or bigger than me, well, you probably will have to think twice if you're thinking about having some nocturnal backseat action in your Nissan Navara. Looking at you, Marky D. Anyway, another thing I noticed with the sitting position is my knees are higher than my hips, which is a typical pickup truck sitting configuration. So yeah, backseat, not really something that you'd write home about. Now for toys, the Navara VE is well equipped here in the back. We got a couple of rear AC vents here. We have a solo USB charging port and a shallow cubby here, which is too shallow to park your smartphone, but it could also house maybe a pen or something. We also have center armrest here with a couple of cup holders, and that's always a good thing. And the seat itself could fold up in case you need to haul some stuff that needs to be placed inside your truck cabin so that it's shielded from the elements. Anyway, let's take this Navara out for a quick spin to see what this thing is all about. Alright, so we're now behind the wheel of the Nissan Navara VE 4x2 automatic. And at first, I was expecting that since this is a pickup truck, that I'd have a tall ride height, but that's not the case with the Navara. You see, this VE feels like I'm driving a regular crossover of all things. The good thing though is visibility is not compromised because the door sill here is pretty low, and I've got a large window on the side. And for my windshield, we have a nice wide open visibility up front. However, the dashboard is mounted a bit high and we could really see the bulge of the hood. So if you're a shorter driver than 5'6", that might pose an issue for you. But if you're 5'6" or higher, well, it's not really a problem. Now when it comes to the steering feel, I'm quite surprised with the Navara steering feel because this is absolutely perfect, guys. I mean, I'd expect that for a truck, it would be either too light or too overboosted, or it would be too heavy. But the Navara, it's just right. It's the Goldilocks of steering feel. We've got a good amount of heft here, but not too much that you'd be wrestling around with the steering wheel. It's light enough that you could easily pilot this truck, but heavy enough that you know you're driving a truck and not some wimpy ass soft-roader. Alright, so we're here at the stoplight in the intersection, and as I mentioned, the Navara used to be the power champ amongst pickups. So let's see how it accelerates. Wow. Okay. Well, this thing has a lot of pull. You know, this is not an outright acceleration test, guys, because we've got some tiny motorbikes in front of us, but it's grunt, it's low-end grunt. It's really, really good. I mean, I couldn't complain despite being an older engine versus some of its more updated truck competitors. this Navara engine could still run with the best of them. Now, when it comes to the suspension, the Navara is proud of having an independent multi-link rear suspension for a pickup truck. Now, it doesn't mean it's a sissy because, as I mentioned, the payload and towing capacities of the Navara, it is pretty good. Now, when it comes to the suspension comfort, this doesn't ride like it's on leaf springs because it's not. It still reminds you that you're in a pickup truck. But it's not too jarring, it's not too bone jarring that it would feel like you just went through a 1-hour massage with a sumo wrestler after going through EDSA. That's not what the Navara would give you. In fact, this is pretty pliant for a pickup truck and a mid-spec variant at that. It's almost like I'm driving a 7-seater PPV-based SUV, pickup-based SUV, like a Terra. It's that good. The suspension is that good. Now, when it comes to the overall spaciousness of the cabin here in front in the cockpit area, well, the Navara is not really the class leader, but it's also not the tightest. It feels just right for a mid-size pickup truck that would be, well, seeing a lot of action here on Asian roads. The air conditioning is fantastic, guys. Of course, that's expected from a Nissan. Now, I'm not really sure where that urban legend came from that a Nissan should always have cold air conditioning. That started like way back in the 90s when I was a teenager. Yeah, but still, Nissan kept with that, and this Navara has some really fantastic climate control. Now, when it comes to safety, the Navara VE, despite being just a mid-spec variant, has some fantastic level of safety kit. We get 6 airbags here. You get dual front airbags, side airbags, and also curtain airbags, something that you normally don't see at this price. We also have ABS with EBD, we have hill start assist, and we also have intelligent emergency braking just in case you're about to collide with a vehicle in front of you. Now, those are a pretty good level of safety kit, although we don't get Nissan's intelligent mobility here in the VE variant. But despite that, well, the standard safety kit is already spot on. Now, before we go to the wrap-up, guys, I want you to hear this. See, I'm really wondering why Nissan always equips their vehicles, even their trucks, with such tiny sounding horns. It's crazy. But, well, anyway, overall, guys, this Nissan Navara VE 4x2 automatic, this, in my opinion, is the best variant amongst the Navara lineup. You see, it has a decent level of features that will make your daily drive quite comfortable, and it also has a good level of safety kit. Plus, it has the best hauling capacity amongst the entire lineup. So yeah, in terms of, well, the Navara, this VE 4x2 automatic, it's the most well-rounded truck of the bunch. To the practical business owner, the Nissan Navara VE 4x2 automatic is the perfect business partner. It may not have the rugged looks of a lifestyle truck, but it does have enough features to make it a pleasant daily drive. It offers a good balance of ride comfort and hauling capacity that makes it one of the most versatile pickup trucks in the local market. It marries the ride comfort of an SUV with the hauling capacity of a true workhorse pickup truck. I mean, seriously, guys, what more could you ask for? Anyway, thanks for watching.